Good evening and welcome to the Orville rewatch series. And it's a super dynamite one today because we have three of my favorite people. Well, four if you count myself, but we have two of them anyway. Uh, and that, of course, is I'm Jody Simpson, but more importantly, the producer with the mostest, the hostess himself on other podcasts, of course, not this one. But anyway. That is, of course, Dave Mater.
Jody, I am ready for the sexual event.
See, part of the intro I was going to do, I was going to have something like that. And then I'm like, nah, can't do that. That'll be bad. Turns out I was wrong. All right.
We're waiting all day to say that to you.
What's that?
I was waiting all day to say that to you.
You know what? I don't know if I'm going to be hurt later or if I'm going to actually.
You are forever changed.
I am forever changed for sure. And of course, who could forget the man who, unlike Isaac, is not a dick. That is, of course, Kevin Millard.
Your head is very smooth and erotic.
Wow, you two have come in full today. I don't know what to say. I just maybe you guys have to do the review.
Can't do that.
Ooh, we're kind of like all sideways and stuff. All right, but anyway, of course, as I said, this is the Orville review show. Hello, Sam. This is Orville season 2 episode. Oh, we already have a question. Okay, well, let's do the question first before I do the rest of the.
Yes, he hasn't posted. I just thought.
Oh well, then.
I want you to be ready.
I'm
There's
ready.
A Vulcan Rumble.
Vulcan Rumble here too. Well, he was here. I don't know if
he might still be here. I don't know.
He could be. We don't actually know. It's a tough market. But anyway, the Orville season 2 episode 2 Primal Urges, which came out in 2019 before the event. And you know, we have this is not your typical sci-fi TV, gentlemen. That's all I can say. This is something. I'm not sure what we're gonna say this is, but this is something.
Oh, here's your question.
Why did you say I need glasses next week? Did I? In the future? Oh, last week.
Weren't you guys like getting into it in the chat last week or something on the TNG podcast?
I don't remember.
I think you were telling them to.
If I told you to get glasses, it's probably because you're overlooking something. That's usually what I use that term for. So
yeah, there you go.
So you probably were overlooking something, but who knows? I might have just been drunk. Who could tell? All right, but anyway, what's that?
Not me.
Not you? Oh, okay.
Nope.
Well, I'm not drunk right now. I'm actually drinking Coke Cherry. So there you go.
It's terrible.
Decided to cherry up.
All right.
Well, some of us like it, Dave.
You're my cherry pie, Jody. Let's go. It's time for the sexual event.
I don't know if I can handle this. Honestly, like you guys are already running full tilt here, and I'm not. So, anyway, what is our initial feelings of this episode? As I am afraid to ask.
Hilarious is my initial reaction to this
episode.
It is so gay, and but in a hilarious way, you know.
Yeah, okay. So, is this going to be our first YouTube strike? You think maybe?
No,
I mean that in a complimentary way.
Oh, absolutely. I knew that's what you meant, but maybe other people didn't, so we better make sure we tell them that. Well, Dave has made it very clear how excited he is about this episode, and I stress the excited part. But Kevin, what is your impressions of this episode?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I thought I liked it a little more than I ended up liking it, but it's not bad. It's not like a terrible episode.
It's a slow burn for me.
Yeah,
it's really slow until about the last 10-15 minutes of it, and then all of a sudden it's like nonstop.
But I mean, Bortus in the simulator is all hilarious. Like I love every scenario.
The scenarios that he had, like the doctor scenario and the being locked in the dungeon scenario and the paradise.
Doctor.
Yeah, the doctor. Yeah.
There was the one line where he's like, "Can you give me an addiction for this porn thing or my porn addiction?" And Clyde is like, "You've had enough injections." Great line.
And I have to admit, even though Clyden is one of my least favorite characters on this show. He was definitely funny in some of the scenes.
Yeah, like I think that the episode's super funny. I think that this whole thing with like Bortus being addicted to the simulator, the holodeck, and this resentment he has for Clyden because of everything that happened with Topa in the first season. I think smart, and I think it's funny, but it's also got that drama weight to it, which I think works. I like character development. I like the things that happened before Matt, carry forward. Stuff that Star Trek doesn't always, well, at least in the original series and Next Gen, didn't do as well, or avoided doing it all. So all those things are strong positives. I think that the whole thing where they have to go save the people on the planet and they have to leave, like, basically, what was it like?
Basically a third of them, yeah.
Basically behind.
2/3 of them, actually.
I think they could have fit a few more, but even with that out of the way, I just think that was kind of a weird thing to throw into the episode. But I did like the whole part where Bortus says, I might be a simple biological life form, but I'm happy I'm not like you to Isaac. Why wouldn't we just take the best people, the smartest people? Or
I like the line where Kelly and Mercer are talking to Isaac, and then they hang up on him, and Kelly's like, "What a dick," and he's like, "Yeah, he's just nothing but a glorified speak and spell," which I thought was really great. Some of the younger viewers won't know what a speak and spell is, but all of us know what a speak and spell is.
The moment where Kelly said this ship is so gross when Gordon was talking about jerking off.
Oh yeah. He's
I went to town on myself.
I went to town on myself this morning.
What do you think? I look so relaxed.
Oh, it's terrible. This episode is one of those episodes where, like, this is actually like in those type of environments, like Star Trek and all that. There's people that are addicted to the holodeck, and what they're doing with it. And we've had this discussion before on other podcasts of like who cleans up the holodeck. Like that's ugh.
Yeah.
But in this case, obviously not called holodeck, but it definitely goes awry. But
Star Trek wouldn't do this in this.
There's no way Star Trek. Well, maybe Lower Decks, but nobody else.
Maybe, but not like old stuff.
The only thing that was Star Trek like was Clyden stabbing him in the heart for a divorce. It's the only thing.
This is our culture.
Yeah, Sam says Barclay, which Barclay was addicted to the holodeck, but for different reasons.
Yeah, but you didn't go in there. He wasn't having like an orgy.
Yeah, he wasn't having an orgy with like 8 guys in a paradise planet.
He totally was. It was a PG show. You have to read between the lines.
Yeah. Well, that's true, I guess.
But in terms of what they actually showed us on screen, it was fine, I guess.
And that's one of the benefits of having a show that isn't straight PG on normal network television, right? So.
Yeah, even the Barclay episode is sort of absurd in the sense that nobody had thought of this idea of creating holographic recreations of people you already know, and then killing them or having sex with them or whatever.
Yeah, that seems like a very dangerous thing to have. Like, you would think somebody would put some sort of safeties in or something where they'd be like, "Yep, nope, you can't duplicate anybody of the crew."
Right, but when Barclay does it in Star Trek, like Geordi's like, this would have occurred to me. I'm like, really?
Which is horseshit, considering like he recreated Laura Brahms. Like
he did create Leah Brahms,
Leah Brahms, yeah.
Right. Well, that's true. Yeah,
not only once, but twice, technically.
I wonder if does that episode come after the Barclay episode or not? I can't remember, but I guess we'll figure that out over on that podcast when we get there.
Well, when you get there, you're gonna have to discuss that. But anyway. All right, well, shall we get into the episode, gentlemen?
Sure.
All righty. Here we go. All right. So, sorry, guys.
I think Dave has already brought my rating up.
On what
he makes quite a good case for this episode.
Well, I watching this today, I really felt like this should have been the premiere of season 2 versus the one we did last week, which I thought was kind of just a lot of rehashing of the season 1 finale.
I agree, and a lot of things that people don't understand is this episode actually is a season 1 episode. They actually held it back.
Oh, is it?
So This is a season 1 episode, and there's one telling reason why, and that's if you look at Alara, she's got the different makeup on than she had at the start of season 2.
I see.
So she's got in season 2 she has fake eyebrows. So it's a whole thing, and I'm sure that'll come up in fun facts depending on who's going to talk about them. Because no Adam, what are we going to do, guys? I think Dave. I think Delta.
I'll discover some details.
All right. Well, that's good. All right. Anyway, so here we are. We got this, and we get our opening where we see, quite honestly, some of the best CGI I think we've seen in this series already. Is some of the external shots are fantastic in this episode. I actually spent a lot of time looking at those than I did actually some of the set pieces, for obvious reasons. But anyway, so we're told that this sun of this solar system is essentially it's going supernova, right?
No, it's turning into a red giant.
It's turning into a red giant, and it's basically
eating the planets, which is apparently going to happen to our sun in 5 billion years, they said.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because no one's going to remember me.
They'll remember.
That's what Isaac says to Lamar.
Lamar says, like, a few of the ladies will still remember.
Yeah, a few of the ladies will still remember me. Because he's such the ladies' man. But yeah, so anyway, we find out that this planet is being engulfed. It's basically being boiled. And then it's going to just explode eventually, which we eventually see on screen and then looks really cool. But right now we get to see the atmosphere basically being taken away from the planet, which I have a question for you right off the bat, gentlemen. They're living underground. Is the entire atmosphere gone at this point when they end up visiting it later?
A lot of it seems to be.
Yeah.
If the oceans are leaving, the atmosphere is already gone.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
Well, the oceans didn't start until the second day of this, right?
Right.
Yeah,
but when they go to the planet, that has already started.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the oceans are gone at that point. Yeah, because it's literally just rock.
I think the radiation's probably the bigger problem here because the ozone layer would be gone, and
Yeah, oh yeah, and you're that close to a planet or that close to a sun. It can't be good. So I'm telling you, you're going to need some hell of a lot of sunblock if you're going to hang out on this planet. You probably would have had to anyway, regardless. So I don't know how other people were living underground for so long, but anyway, good plan. But yeah, so anyway, we see, and they're actually showing us some shots of the atmosphere basically being pulled away from the planet, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And everybody on the bridge, with the exception of Bortus, thinks it's cool as well.
He's all worried about his porn.
Well, he's not. We don't know yet. Okay, we just know that he's heading out early.
It has stolen his ability to enjoy other things.
He's like, it's very interesting, but
yeah, it's interesting, but I have other things to do. Yeah. So basically, you see him walking down the corridors, and he ends up in the environmental simulator, I think they call it here. Yep. And he turns on a program, which ends up being like this campfire kind of thing in some sort of forested area, I guess. And this dude shows up. I don't think they named him. No. I don't think we have time for names in this type of environment. But anyway, and it turns out that they embrace each other. And at that point, we're like, what the hell? And then it moves over to the credits. And then at this point, we see our banner, which is, of course, Primal Urges, which very fitting for this episode. Right. I don't think I can think of a better name for this episode, quite honestly, unless without using the word orgy anyway. But what can you do? Anyway, we see basically Bortus shows up in their bed way late, and Clyden gives them a hard time about it. Which right,
he wanted to make love.
Yeah, and here's one of the cool shots I thought was just cool, and that's why I took it. They do some great shots on this show. Anyway, we see next morning they're talking with the girl who's now a boy. I can't remember her name. Topa, that's it. So Topa, they're talking to Topa, and basically Clyden's being, I guess, for lack of a better word, bitchy. Which again, rightfully so. Like, he never sees his husband, and his husband's always working late. Which
the captain demands great things of him.
Yeah,
he must work late.
It's true. But anyway, and
there's many duties.
They get angry, and then we go back to the bridge where they show us that the planet is now the oceans are now being sucked out. Which I think it's interesting. I thought this guy on the side here, he's got a little like tiny mohawk going on. I don't know who he is, but I like the makeup.
He's almost as ugly as Dan.
Yeah, I found him unsettling.
He is
I'm just gonna
unsettling.
say
Like,
it. I
he's
don't
got
know
this
why.
kind of scowl.
He's got a sinister look to him.
Dan is a much more loving looking dude.
Oh, Dan is the best.
So anyway, Bortus again, of course, is walking around, and he then gets the idea of going back into the environmental simulator again.
Is he supposed to go to dinner? He had said he was kind
He's
of
supposed to. Yeah, he's leaving because he's gonna have dinner with Clyden because he said he wants to make up for not being there, kind of thing. Turns out he's going to the sex dungeon, and we get to see this huge dude who basically he asks for water, he brings the water in, and then he spits it at him, which I do.
He's like, do you want some water?
He's like, you want some water?
Okay.
Yeah,
I found this very funny. Like this, all this was like, because it's sexual, but it's also Bortus's personality.
it's also Bortus's version of sexuality.
His version of sexuality, because he's normally such like this stoic, serious guy, tough, exterior, and then when he starts getting into this gay sex stuff, it gets very funny to me. I don't know. It's just like he plays the bottom role, and he's just kind of I don't know.
He likes to be He likes to be humiliated a little bit. He's
he's like, well, I guess I have no choice but to do things to get out of this dungeon.
So I guess Clyden is the top then. I guess we've.
I guess.
I would think so. Yeah.
We're pretty sure he is. Yeah.
Because Bortus did lay the egg, so come on.
And this guy has the most menacing laugh ever. I'm just like, if I was in a dungeon and heard this guy laugh, I would be freaking out even harder.
And what are they called? Mocklins, right? In general, the Mocklins, I just find them when they start getting into their sex stuff just hilarious. Like not just Bortus and Clyden, but all of them. Like
it's just so crazy. Like it's just and it's still stoic, but yet sexual.
They remind me of Klingon warriors, but they're like, what if Klingon warriors were totally like into gay orgies? I don't know. Like it's just maybe they are. I don't know.
Possible,
but yeah.
Well, when your entire species is only one sex, is it really gay?
Well, they have some women, and even
only
later on, Bortus uses the analogy of a child sucking on its mother's teat, and I'm like, well, why would you? Use that
I noticed that.
I never even put two and two together on that.
But he's talking to Isaac. I'm like, well, that's not really something that you think a Mocklin would say.
Mocklin doesn't do that.
Yeah, but maybe I don't know. I don't know how nursing works with mostly male species.
I think if we get into that, we're definitely in territory we don't need to be in. So let's just move on. So anyway, the guard's like, I'm leaving, basically, because he refused the advancements on him to get himself out early, kind of thing. And then he's like, no, stop, come back. And he comes back and he like takes off his armor and he's like getting ready to go. And then we go back to basically him showing up back in their area later, and there's Clyde, and he's like, "Where were you? We were supposed to have dinner." Blah blah blah.
You ruined our evening.
Yeah, you ruined our evening again. But basically,
he's still ready for the sexual event.
All right, well, let's have the sexual event. I'm too tired.
I'm too tired. I don't know why I got a picture of that, but anyway. So anyway, you see next you see him sleeping. And then you see Clyde hovering over him. And I have to admit, I totally forgot about this scene. And I was like, whoa, I forgot about this. Because at the first point, I'm thinking, oh, wait, I guess he was having a dream or something. And then I'm like, oh, no, wait, he does actually stab him. I do remember that. So he ends up stabbing him. And he just like lets out this big blood curdling roar. And then all of a sudden you see like the emergency room type thing go on where he's completely dead. And they're trying to revive him. They finally revive him. Ironically, that this face here, that was probably one of the outtakes for one of the orgy scenes, just so you know. But anyway, so they end up finding out that it was Clyden that did it, and they basically put him in the brig after they talked to the admiral.
But Bortus says, no, this is a normal.
Yeah, this is just a divorce.
This is just a simple divorce. He
should have let him die.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
So anyway, Kelly and Mercer decide they're gonna do some day drinking because it's kind of what they do on this show.
What is like Mercer at one point is like, can I just be on a normal ship? You
Yeah,
know,
can I just be on a normal ship?
But what were these like Chilean something or others? And like they were neat to look at.
They were, and then they kind of combined together to make like one little kind of cloud thing, and then they started drinking. So anyway, they end up, even though they're in the middle of drinking, day drinking, might I add, all of a sudden, Alara shows up with the prisoner and, of course, Bortus as well. And this is where they explain that, when a Mocklin wants to divorce their mate, they kill them, which,
right.
let's be
It's our
honest.
culture.
I like how they even throw shade at Kelly and Ed here. Like, we didn't want to end up like you.
Yeah, we didn't want to end up like you guys. And the two of them are day drinking. Like, it's like,
we don't want to fail like you. That's what Clyden says that to them.
yeah,
It's
we don't want to fail like you.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. He looks down at that, but he just tried to murder somebody.
Yeah. So Mercer's trying to make like heads or tail out of this. He doesn't get it. Kelly's the same way. She's like, what? You
This
just
whole
get to
idea-
kill them?
This whole idea of like the idea of pressing charges, which seems to be like this American thing
Yeah.
that I just don't think exists in Canada. Like, if you commit a crime here, does the victim have to like consent to
No,
prosecution?
No.
I don't think so, right?
No, I don't think so.
Victims of crimes don't press charges. The police
the
always
police
press
do.
charges. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a different environment and different.
But in the States, I think this is a thing. Like, or like,
Well,
I think it may have been at one time.
I don't think it is anymore.
Not so sure.
I just watched this thing. It was it was like one of these YouTube videos of a body cam police officer dealing with somebody at an airport. Anyway, long story short,
I love those things.
So this woman, she tries to hit like an airline attendant with the phone, right? And he's like, I'm going to charge her with like public drunkenness and all these things, but like if you press charges, you're gonna have to come to court, and it's gonna be a whole thing, and I can still, basically he talks her out of it, right? Because it's going to mean you're gonna have to take off work and et cetera, and
yeah, who cares if you're beaten with a phone?
Yeah, I don't know. It just it struck me as like, I don't think it works the same in Canada. Like,
it certainly does not.
Well, I'm sure we
Not
have some
here.
Americans watching us, hopefully. And if
Yeah.
you are, chime in on that and let us know what's going on.
Let us know what you think is normal.
Because we're
with
just
this.
three Canadian boys who understand the law here. That's it. So
Right.
Anyway.
Well, honestly, it probably goes state by state too, because law
that's
enforcement
true.
is mostly not federal, right?
Yeah, it's
Right, but even
usually
for like
statewide,
major
yeah.
crimes, like assault and like
capital
murder
crimes,
and
yeah.
Well, I think
don't think
felonies. I don't think that's.
Yeah, I think getting
something
beaten with a
like-
telephone pole or like with a telephone is probably like a misdemeanor at best. Like I don't think it's
I guess so. I don't know. It depends on the degree.
Depends how successful you are.
like if you're strangling somebody and trying to kill them, then that's attempted
Right.
murder. But
Right.
I don't think you're trying to murder somebody with a headset of a phone.
No, they were no murder was attempted,
Yeah, exactly.
as far as I understand.
So,
Anyway,
but
they go to
anyway,
counseling.
yeah. Anyway, basically, it's Mocklin tradition. That's what he explains, and he says, it's not his fault. Can you just let him go, kind of thing. So they decide they're going to go to therapy. And funny enough,
This actually, I love his first answer. Why? What do you guys know why you're here? Because the captain has ordered it.
yeah, because the captain has ordered it.
She's like, technically true.
But that gets back to that whole stoic thing, right? Like it's just and both of them are like, there's no emotion on either one of their faces as she's talking for the most part.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see Kaylin do something, but that's about it. Or
Clyden.
Yeah. See, I told you, screw up names. I was doing pretty good there though for a while, you have to admit. But anyway, so the two of them are like, yeah, Claire basically says, oh, put an hour a day aside for your mate every day and blah blah blah. And they're Clyden comes out and he's like, yeah, this is a great idea. I think we made some really good progress. And he's like, yeah, we have. I gotta go tell the captain of the things while I'm off that need to be done. And Clyden's like, okay, I'll see you in a bit. And then he goes right back to the simulator again. And this time he goes into a doctor one.
Yeah.
And I will say, I don't know how they wrote it or whether it was intentional, but when he told him to turn around and bend over, I'm like, oh shit.
I think it was intentional.
I'm sure it was intentional, but especially with Seth doing it. I don't know if he wrote it, but it was definitely one of those things. But
No.
No, I don't think he wrote this one. But anyway, and all of a sudden you see like, his hands get caressing him and he's kissing his neck and stuff like that. And then he's
It's
just
not
like,
enough.
it's not enough for him. He's done. He's like, no, this isn't good enough. And he literally turns off the thing, and he's sitting there buck naked in the middle of this thing.
Where did his clothes go?
That's a good question.
Like, shouldn't they be like right there?
Well, yeah, they should be, because like he dropped them there. Huh. Maybe they're like just off the shot, like
He's
just
got like right now. He just seeing him from this angle. He reminds me of like Station from Bill and Ted's.
Oh
Bogus
my
Journey.
God, you're right. Oh wow, I never even thought of that, but he totally does. He's got like a big ass and the like straight build, and Station. But anyway, then we get this character who I've never seen before, and I absolutely love the design because it is just so not normal. It's crazy. I tried to get as many shots as I could, but basically he looks like a big dick with something coming out of him.
Right. And the way this character is presented, he's the guy you would go to for anything seedy on the show.
Like black market stuff, or like things that
he says you want some pills to go with that. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, never mind.
Actually, I took screenshots of some of the captions because some of them are just hilarious, but they go by so fast that I don't know if people caught them. Like, hey, looking something to hone your bone. I love that. But look at him. He's just like, what a weird looking thing.
Yeah.
Actually, that was one of the lines I was going to use on the intro. I was going to say something along the lines of, and there's Dave, the man who likes to hone his bone.
Yeah.
But
I'm ready for the sexual event, Jody, when you are.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't. But anyway, we got twins, interspecies, shuttle bait three ways. Chubby Krill housewives.
Battle cruiser
toilet cams. I'm like, oh, this is too much. But basically, he's trying to solicit a hologram program from these guys because they're notorious for being able to access very risque stuff.
I know. Yeah, but then you have to start like, what's his porn like for like that species?
So basically, the easiest way to look at this is, he started with Playboy, he went to Penthouse, and now he's looking for some really good smut. So it's like, oh, he's going far.
Two girls, one cup. That's what he wants
there
now.
You go. Something like that. Yeah, don't look that up, by the way. But anyway, or a meat spin for that matter. But anyway. So these guys are looking at the fact that they've found like kind of like an underground chamber, and they think it might be an ancient chamber or something, but it turns out there's people in it, which is something they thought this planet was completely derelict of life, and they're just like, well, it's going to go bye-bye, but now they're like, oh shit, there's people there. So they try to communicate. Or maybe not at this point.
I think they do get the radio signal established maybe eventually here. And yeah.
Some really cool shots though.
And then there's this whole thing about how to pronounce the name. Is it Thies or Thies or?
Because he says it with the like Long Island accent, right?
Okay, like I know Davin's probably not watching, but Davin, this was about you. He's a pronunciation Nazi, Davin Skellhorn. And,
pronunciation Nazi?
You're joining the pronunciation ranks.
Davin won this, and he's not even here. Amazing.
He's always telling me how to pronounce words and names.
Well, apparently you need it. But anyway, so do I, though.
At least I remember them.
Yeah, there you go. I don't even remember them. But some of the cool shots in this, though, for sure. And then we get this guy, which I can't remember his name, the alien guy. They do say his name, but I don't remember it. It doesn't matter. The weird rhino dick man, that guy. But anyway, he's like, psst, and he's like, he gives them the chip, which apparently I didn't get anything. There was no good dialogue there, so you're not missing anything. But anyway, he puts this chip in, which we all know. The minute you do this on any starship, you have fucked the starship. We've seen this in TNG. Right? We've seen this in Voyager. We've seen this in everywhere.
Right? I like this idea too. Like a black market program would be infected with some stuff.
With a virus, yeah.
A virus, yeah.
Hey, that's what happens when you download from unknown BitTorrent clients. But what can you do? But anyway. So anyway, he runs this program and it's this. And at this point, this was the worst point when Candace decided she was going to look over at my screen as I was taking the screen.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What the hell are you watching?" And I'm like, "I don't have time."
Just tell her it's Outlander.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'd probably believe it.
I like how the guys that get to play these Bachlands are always just slightly overweight. Just
Yeah,
like,
they're I think the whole race is like slightly chunky and
like they get these guys with
they're husky men, right?
Yeah, they're not but they have just a little like they're not like chiseled out of rock or anything.
Well, they're not like the Klingons, right? Where the Klingons have all different shapes and sizes. These guys are all pretty much the same. Like they're all they're a little chunky. They got kind of the dad bod thing going on.
Right.
So, but anyway, I think it's really funny. So anyway, we end up seeing these two and they're talking about how they're going to get the shuttle ready to go down and try to get the survivors. Or some of them.
They order some pizza and then
they order some pizza and this big blob thing comes out.
Right, this is the virus corrupting the system.
Yeah, well, once it takes over pizza, there's a problem, right? Like at this point, you're like, fuck, if I can get pizza, it's time to really figure this shit out, right? So anyway, then we see this. Oh man, I have no words. It's just it's so funny to see, but so awkward as well.
You always wish you were on the set, like to see what they hit cut.
I don't actually. I don't think I miss anything by not being on that set. But anyway, but I have to admit, everybody that they got for like the people that are around Bortus and even Bortus himself, like just look at the look on his face. Like he
is content.
He is he's having a good time.
That's how my cat looks when you scratch, his belly and stuff.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden this thing pops up. Which is the door to the environmental simulator, and of course there's Clyden, and he's like, "What?" He's got the dumb look on his face.
It's interesting that anybody could just walk in on your program,
right?
Yeah, like there's no security at all. Like you're running porn programs, and
Clyden is a civilian. He has no override or anything.
Yeah, he's got nothing, right? So like literally all he did was push the button to enter, and then it let him in. Like you would think there would at least be like some sort of security lock or maybe a pin code or something you need to know.
A door time.
Yeah. So Adam just said something to us. He's traveling, but hey guys, there you go. So there's Adam. Hi Adam. We miss you. But anyway, so yeah, no. So anyway, we have Clyden giving us a very good representation of the wife has caught you doing something she told you not to do. Look, very good look at it, by the way. And then there's, Bortus jumps up and he's like, "Oh, Clyden,"
Clyden. Yeah. He yells at me. He's like, "Clyden!"
And literally the next scene is the two of them sitting in the chairs again.
Yeah, and I love Clyden. If I had not promised the captain, I would stab you again.
I would stab you again. Yeah, he's really mad. Like he's mad. But then we find out in this sitting that the reason why he's Bortus is not feeling too close to Clyden is because of the decision about his daughter. Performing the sex change, against the will of one of the parents. And, and then it gets serious all of a sudden. And you're like, literally a couple seconds ago, I was seeing a bunch of half naked Bortus guys running around, and, gallivanting and having their little heyday there. And then, all of a sudden it gets to something really serious. But this goes to show you that this really should have been in a season 1 episode, but they held it off for season 2. But what can you do? But anyway, and I agree with you. I think it was Dave that brought it up that this should have been like an opening. Like this should have been a season opener type.
This episode, I think this episode is just stronger than the previous episode. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Yeah. Even though there's not a hell of a lot goes on in this episode, but it's definitely written interestingly. So
what happened in the last episode? I can't even remember.
Not much either. Not much either.
That was the last episode was Kelly and Ed's relationship.
Right. It was all about them and the boyfriend and
the teacher boy.
This is better than that for sure.
Yeah, this is better for sure. But anyway, so he lets out his real feelings that he's still upset about this and he's never going to forgive him, basically. And then we go back over to the shuttle where they're trying to get everything ready. And there's Dan in the background because there's Dan. And I love how Dan like chirps up like at the most inappropriate time. I can't remember what he says here, but it was.
You know
He
what
says,
I found out that the captain and I share a birthday.
Oh, that's right. It was the birthday thing.
and then I'm watching it with Jane, and then she goes, "Is this character's name Dave?" And I go, "No, Dan."
Oh, that.
Oh, she's spot on though.
Dave, your head isn't as big.
No, yeah, but
Past that, I think she's.
or it
pretty
looks
spot
like
on.
it looks as much like a ball sack as his.
I found out that we're both Pisces.
Well,
yeah.
Literally what you did to JG Hertzler.
I did
Same
actually.
fucking thing.
I did it. Yeah.
I forgot.
And I will
about
do it
that.
again when I see him.
I totally forgot about that. Oh, jeez. Anyway, so then we see Isaac, and Isaac is like, I can't remember what he's doing actually at this point. I don't know why I even took a picture of him, quite honestly. So we'll just skip that part. But anyway, we see these guys rushing, and they're rushing into the.
Oh, this is when they were going to go find out there's a problem, and it's like the virus. They're basically figuring out the virus, and they're figuring out it's originating in the simulator.
Yeah, they found out that. Oh, that's right. Isaac found out that it was what's his name that put it in.
Now, did the captain and the first officer have to come down here to look at this? No, but is it funny? Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it had.
So anyway, like you just the looks on their faces is just like I love how this guy gets up too. It's just amazing. This guy is
And the
amazing.
smiles on, like, it's so good.
Like this guy has like the Quark smile on him for sure. This guy's got kind of like the laid back sensual, but this guy is ready for business. He's like, yeah, let's get this going. Right. And he doesn't care that Kelly's there either. But anyway, so and then this awkward scene where he rubs his nipple for like a little longer than we wanted to see. And he's like,
Brilliant.
It is.
Yeah,
Absolutely this is the height of cinematography, gentlemen. I don't think we can get any higher than this. But anyway, they go back to the briefing room and they're like, "What the hell do we do about this?" And Mercer's just like, "What the hell, dude?"
Yeah, I guess the Bordas is the one who brought the virus in
Yeah.
or corrupted the system, and so he gets chastised quite a bit here. And then this is where Gordon says, "I went to town myself this morning. It's all good, man."
Yeah. So it's
Why do you think
determined
I'm so relaxed?
Yeah, the only two people that can actually survive the radiation that's going on is Isaac and Bordas. So Bordas is now going back out again.
And I guess Clyden theoretically, but he's not in the service.
He's not in the service, so
yeah.
they can't make him go. But anyway, so Bordas and Isaac go, and during this scene where they're like flying down, like Isaac's like, wow, he basically just does what Isaac does, which is chastise everybody else for the most part.
I didn't really understand why Bordas' suit doesn't have like some kind of a helmet or something.
It does. He puts it on.
Oh, okay.
And then he takes it off later. Yeah.
But he doesn't wear.
He doesn't need it right now because he's in the shuttle, which has a controlled environment. Right?
They only
Kind of a cool
need it from the shuttle to the door.
Yeah,
Right.
and then all of a sudden he takes it off again because that's what every single sci-fi show does. All of a sudden, the atmosphere is completely breathable. But anyway, what can you do? But we get some cool shots of the shuttle going down on this.
This is what, on the way down, like Isaac's grilling him with questions about
basically relationships,
and
and like his porn addiction, basically.
The guy's like, if you're so smart, then how come you don't know?
Yeah.
If you're so smart, figure it out, he says.
Yeah.
Because Bordas obviously doesn't want to talk about it. But anyway, the two get in the shuttle. They go in, and there's Bordas with his helmet on.
Okay.
He comes down, and then he takes the helmet off. And we end up seeing all these people. I think they said there's 75 of them, something like that.
Yeah, left of like this entire civilization.
Left of the whole civilization. Yeah, these are the guys that went down underground when things were getting bad. And this lady looks so familiar, so hopefully we can figure out who she is. Or why I would know who she is. Anyway.
Leslie Farah is her name.
Leslie Farah. What's she been in?
This. That's
right.
all I got.
That's it, eh? Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, she looks. To me, I thought she was like some sort of Star Trek alumni. I didn't even know who she was.
Well, I'll wait till details discovered.
Okay. Well, maybe details discovered. We'll discover some details.
Sure.
Hence the name. But anyway, so this is the minister of the people. And basically, at this point, this is when the Orville figures out that the planet is breaking up quicker than they anticipated. They're going to only have one trip. And unfortunately, they can only bring, I think they said 30 people in the shuttle, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, well, 30 people. Now, this guy just randomly shows up. I don't know who he is either, but I had to.
He's also unsettling.
He's very unsettling. He's almost like a cat-like zombie guy. I don't know. Who he is,
like
but,
it's weird makeup too. Yeah,
I have to admit though, the people that do the makeup, I know I say it a lot, but like they come up with some really crazy shit on this show.
Sure.
And of course the CG as well. But anyway, so Mercer basically, has been told, oh, this is what's going to happen. You can't bring everybody back. You're going to have to bring some people back. So basically these guys are like, well, we have to tell them. And then we go back to Dan and Lamar there. I can't remember what these two are doing at this point.
Well, they're trying to purge the virus from the system.
They're just still trying to get the virus out, right? But they can't
from the simulator because that's where it originates.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to start. This is where they start the program.
Oh, that's right. They started again. And then Dan's like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
the
buddy.
Mocklin
Hey,
starts
buddy.
like, trying to like lick his ear, and he's like, he just likes the attention.
Yeah.
Dan's like, hey, I'm Dan.
Hey, I'm Dan.
I like this program.
It's a cool program you got here. But yeah, so anyway, they basically tell the minister, you can only bring 30. You're going to have to do something. And she's like, well, I guess we're going to have to run a lottery or something. So anyway, they end up doing some sort of lottery or something, but she stays back, but her husband and her child both go. So she didn't want to take a spot from somebody, but it was okay that her family did, but she didn't. But anyway, so we did that. So anyway, we see all of them take off. We see the last of these guys, and they get on the shuttle and they haul ass. And just as they're hauling ass, of course, that's when the planet really starts taking its toll.
Yeah.
I do actually like that they weren't able to save everyone, and that like there was no sort of 11th hour.
Yeah, there wasn't
plan.
some like
it was just like, no, we
can
going.
teleport them.
You're
or
gonna
something.
die.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah,
But we can save some of you, and
there's nothing we can do about this. Yep, sorry. But we get to see the planet start to basically completely disintegrate. Very cool stuff, actually. And it got so bright on my computer monitor that like the whole room was lit up. I was like, wow, this is something. But they did a pretty good job of that. So anyway, we see them with the survivor.
There's room. They could fit a few more in there.
Oh yeah, like come on, guys. Anybody ride a subway?
Oh, ever? Yeah. You can fit fucking 10 more people right behind those chairs. Like
I've been on GO train cars after a Blue Jays game that more packed than that.
You could have fit all 75 in there if you wanted to.
Easily.
It might have been a little cramped. Well, they could have just laid them all down and stacked them up. Like, what's the problem here?
Yeah, it's like a 12-minute flight. Like
yeah, that guy got a seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Leave the seats behind and have everyone stand.
You were literally like the last people.
Yeah,
in
why
this
didn't you just
world.
rip the damn seats out? Yeah. Make it a cargo vessel and fit some more people in there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I guess I didn't have time with that 24 hours that they had to like get.
Well, because Ed does the whole Kirk thing to him, right? Where he's like, I need 10 hours. You got 5. Go.
You got 5. Go. Yeah. So anyway, we get some more cool shots of them coming in. They come in, they find out that the shuttle's there, but then unfortunately they lose propulsion.
Yeah, they lose helm control,
which is a bit of a problem when you're on a big gravity well, which is a planet getting blown up and sucked in. So anyway, they're spinning around like nuts, and obviously we can't really get that on the screens. I tried to get as much as I could, but it's spinning around. It's in all different areas, all different altitudes and stuff, and they're fighting it. And this is one of the only times you actually see where like he, Gordon really is like looking stressed out hard. Like he's like super red and he's like just sweat just dripping down him. But anyway, and then we go back to, and, we're supposed to be in like the serious point of the show. And like then they do this scene, which is just absurd, but so funny. Where like Isaac gets there and he's like plugging in to try to help with the virus thing, and then this Mocklin comes up and starts kissing him. Stuff. It's so stupid. But anyway, and Isaac's not even fazed by it. Like Isaac's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they get the propulsion back, and actually that's one of the reasons why I got that shot. Like half the panels are missing off the ship at this point and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they really beat the hell out of this thing. But anyway, they finally get the propulsion going. Everybody's happy, except for maybe these guys. and then he goes up to him and he starts licking him.
Your head is smooth and erotic.
Yeah, your head is smooth and erotic. So anyway,
that just
and then Lamar's just like,
gotta
go.
So crazy.
And the guys in the background are even like rubbing each other and shit. It's so funny.
The loincloth is a very fun costume choice. I don't know.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
We get a nice external shot of the ship and the damage that it's taken, which is pretty cool. Then we basically go back, and this is where Mercer gives him a grilling and then appraisal. Which is
classic.
Kind of the classic. You bonehead, you did so many stupid bad things, but you're also a hero. That kind of thing. Which is pretty common. And then we see Kaelin waiting for or Clyden. See, there you go. See, at least I only
correct you because the Kalon are the race Isaac's from.
Yes.
So
and that's why I keep screwing it up. Yeah, because I'm dumb. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. At least I don't try to show down Davin. But anyway, at least not on that anyway. Many other things. But anyway, so we see them, and then the two of them kind of make up, I guess is a good way to say it. But we don't really get most of the gist of it.
The ending is like I don't know if I'll ever be able to let go of the stuff with Topa, but I'm gonna try, and whatever.
Yeah, and that was
at least they're trying to be honest with each other at least about it. So.
And that is the episode, gentlemen. So
I don't think it ever comes up again, though, does it? Isn't this one of the last sort of?
No, I think it does.
It does. Okay.
I don't think so.
Between Clyden and
I don't think
Bortus?
it comes up anymore.
It will.
Does it?
Okay.
Right.
I'm just not remembering then.
But the real question, Dave, is: are we ready to get detailed?
You are ready. Dave? Are we ever? Okay, so first up, largely because of its sharp sexual material, the cast and crew really wondered how audiences would receive this episode. Several days after the airing, actor Scott Grimes, who's Malloy, stated, "I watched the episode and wondered how the people were going to take it. The show surprises me every week with a social and political commentary that is underlined and sometimes not underlined. Unfortunately, relative to the preceding episodes, Primal Urges' performance was disappointing. 2,821,000 Americans watched the episode live, 0.63 million of whom were ages 18 to 49. Fortunately, so the episode, okay, but the critical response lukewarmly to the episode. Ryan Britt of Den of Geek and Nick Winerski of AV Club thought this episode was too weirdly focused on Bortus and the Moclan culture. If the intention was to hold a weak episode, they picked the right one. Okay, I'm just going to stop you right there. If these homophobic sci-fi geek writers can't handle the brilliance that is in this episode, that they had the balls, the Dan balls here to actually go for it and do something completely like to put people outside of their comfort zone, then I say shame on you, AV Club and Den of Geek and whatever other rags are writing about this episode. All right, moving on. According to the science consultant, Andre Bormanis, the spectrum of the red giant star that appears on the Orville's monitor is a real spectrum from the star. Oh. So maybe that's why it looks so good, Jody.
It does look good.
Yeah.
Now we know why.
Do you know Nana Visitor?
Oh, of course I do.
She played Major Cure on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. She was originally supposed to be cast as Minister Thies.
Oh, really? Thies? Oh, that would have been cool.
However, she lost the role because her agent forgot to tell her.
Oh, I would have fired him in a heartbeat.
How can you forget? Like, that's your whole job as an agent. Like,
and let's be honest, DS9's over now. And she's certainly not as busy as she was.
I think she does mostly plays and stage stuff.
Well, she's still in things. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but,
like she was in
Battlestar.
Like, and
I'm sure she's not that busy that agent is like, oh, we have so many projects to juggle. I can't get you on this thing. It's like I would be firing that guy in a heartbeat. I would have loved to see her in this.
The glove on Bortus' unique spacesuit are, in fact, Icon Hypersport Pro short gloves with the black knuckle guard painted white. The perverted Lieutenant Unk was secretly performed by Seth MacFarlane. That was the guy with all the the dirty
Oh yeah.
stuff. That was actually Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, was it? Okay, cool.
Yeah. While performing the erotic simulation between Bortus and the Mocklin prison guard, actor Jude B. Lanston struggled to pretend to spit water on Peter Macon in a convincing fashion on camera. Macon eventually gave up and told Lanston to spit directly on him.
Well, he's like, I want to get this done. Like, can we
Yeah,
go?
Yeah.
spit on me already.
Just spit on me.
Associate producer Aaron McPherson makes a cameo as a crew member, an unnamed ensign who says, "Hi, Commander," to Bortus. I don't even remember that happening.
That part, but I'm sure it was awesome.
It's when they're when he's getting that thing from the other guy, like when he's getting the program in the hallway.
Oh, the guy that walks by. Yeah, okay.
The guy that walks by.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do remember him saying it.
This episode received the Orville's only broadcast standards note from 20th Century Fox corporate board due to its sexual controversial material.
When Fox is coming after you, you know you've kind of crossed the line.
This is like this is their internal thing.
Yeah.
McFarlane responded, "Oh, that's right. We have a broadcast standards department. I never hear from them."
Says the guy from Family Guy. Okay, yeah.
This episode is is Peter Macon's favorite and Mark Jackson's favorite. The guy who plays Isaac.
Really?
Macon watched the episode live with his mother, which proved an uncomfortable experience. We were just super silent the whole episode. I felt 14 all over again. Bortus tells Isaac that his urge for sexual release is primal, like a baby seeking its mother's teeth. The choice of metaphor is odd. Yeah, this week, considering that with rare exceptions, Mocklins have no mothers and their children do not suckle. But maybe I guess he learned this at the academy. Maybe. Okay. Is there anything else? The episode takes place in August of 2420. Bortus told Clyden that he would meet him in their quarters to make a list of fun activities at 1800 hours. Remember that? I was like, you must make a list of fun activities and do them together. The first contact with and the rescue of the Nixians takes place in under 24 hours, which is the amount of time the computer estimated the planet had left. The engineers initially believed that the shuttle will be prepared in 9 hours, but later say that there are 10 hours remaining to Ed. And Ed answers Nixia will be gone in less than 10 hours, unless Ed is exaggerating. That means over 14 hours have elapsed since the first contact. Okay. And mistakes. Oh, this might be interesting. Okay. Wait, sorry. Attitude. So when the star gravity well begins to pull the Orville in, Gordon exclaims, "I've lost attitude control," instead of "I've lost altitude control."
Yeah.
Everyone thought this was an error, but it's actually not an error. Attitude refers to the orientation of a spacecraft or aircraft relative to the direction of travel. So it is correct.
Oh, well, there you go.
And those are all my fun facts and details, Jody.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. You did really well on that.
Thank you.
you.
Glad to help.
We
miss you, Adam.
We do miss you, Adam, but Dave definitely filled the void there. But I guess the real question is, gentlemen, what are we going to rate this? That's going to be the bigger problem. So let's bring her. Oh, wow, that's really small. All right, so let's let's bring that up a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right. So Primal Urges, gentlemen. Apparently I have a 0. I don't know.
I just put that so there wouldn't be an error on the formula.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So Adam's not here. So let's go with Dave. What are you going to give this, Dave?
9.5.
Really? Wow. That's pretty high. I wasn't expecting that. All right, Kevin.
I'm going to go 8.5. Dave, you brought me up on this with your enthusiasm.
He definitely brought me up on it too, for sure. I'm going to go 8. You know what? It's a solid episode. I wouldn't say it's the most enjoyed episode I've had, but it's definitely.
I just respect it that they had the guts to do something that would not be like as acceptable to sort of a mainstream television audience, and everyone talks about being accepting of gay people, except when it comes to them being gay, and just let them be gay, so and be themselves, right? And just not have to sort of sanitize it or make you comfortable with it, right? So that's my take. and that's why I went with this.
Hey, you don't have to explain it. I think you did great. So we do an average right now. We're at 8.7. We don't have Adam's rating in yet, but we have a combined average of 7.7 because IMDb was sitting at a 6.7 as of the airing of this episode.
Yeah, that was the other thing, is that it's actually got one of the lowest ratings of any of any Orville episode on IMDb.
Yeah, which
because
is bizarre.
They can't handle it.
They just can't handle the truth.
They can't handle these sexy Mocklin guys going in their loincloths.
But you know what? Here on Live Long and Podcast, Dave, we are all about this. We have no problem with it. It is good to go.
We'll throw Riker into a slutty outfit. We don't care.
Absolutely. You guys did that on another podcast.
I will celebrate it too.
Yes, exactly. Speaking of which, we do have other Star Trek content on this channel, Dave. Such as tomorrow, even.
Get ready. There's more coming. Yeah, tomorrow we have our Star Trek The Next Generation episode reviews. We got Jason Velociraptor, or is it Justin? Sorry, Justin Velociraptor coming in. He was just on Trivial Debates with me. Apparently lives right over here. So,
yeah, unfortunately, I had to give my spot away for tomorrow, but I was kind of looking forward to meeting him, so I guess I'm gonna have to wait.
Next time we'll get it.
Sure
So Heather's gonna be on the panel, and who's the other one? Murphy, I think. Murphy. So we'll be talking about When the Bow Breaks tomorrow, the episode where Wesley Crusher and a bunch of the kids on the Enterprise get abducted by some, alien. Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain guy. Is in the episode. I remember liking the episode.
You got a long way to wait for the Clemens episode, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a mid episode for me. That the one you're doing tomorrow.
It's okay.
A mid episode in the first season feels like,
which isn't bad.
It's tops for first season.
It's a win for first season for sure.
Right. Yeah. So look out for that. I think next week we're going to be doing a Class L probe with the science division led by Davin. I think he's getting together with Ashley to talk about some interesting Star Trek topics. That's what they like to do over on that program. Also, we're going to be doing a Star Trek Radio Theater, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday on September 21st. We'll be doing the Star Trek Next Generation episode, Phantasms, which is the episode with the cellular peptide cake with the mint frosting. So look out for that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know which one. With the Troy cake.
The Troy cake. Yeah.
Troy cake.
And Sigmund Freud. And it's just going to be really weird.
That's the Crusher one, right? Like Crusher's going nuts, or is that a different
No, that's a different one.
No.
This is supposed to be it's more like Data's going nuts, actually.
This is when Data's having the dreams, right?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And she Crusher's drinking out of Riker's ear with that straw and like all that weird stuff that happens.
Yeah, that one's like an acid trip, man.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
We that's the one we settled on doing. So we'll be pulling that off. And, yeah.
But of course, Dave, we don't have just that on this federation of podcasts, so to speak.
No,
we have many others, which we have a little blurb at.
We have a little thing, got X-rated with the X-Men people, the X-Men cartoons, and got Eamon on track doing the music and Trivial Debates. We just did a Game of Thrones themed episode. Jeff Mader was a very terrible host, and
I heard because you were on it and you're a panelist.
Yeah, he didn't even throw me a pity point.
Not even a pity point for his own brother.
No, wow. He shut me out all 6 rounds.
There's something going on there, Dave. I don't know.
Yeah.
That sounds like a discussion over Christmas, maybe.
Because Murphy says I'm doing a Game of Thrones themed episode. I said, I gotta be there, and then I go, "Who's the host?" And he goes, "Jeff." I go, "Fuck."
I can't say you're not wrong there.
We had a woman on for that podcast. She was from the Burlington Bar in Chicago, which is not related to Burlington, Ontario, but they do all those back in the days when Game of Thrones was on. They would do like these big reaction videos at the bar.
Okay.
And so she's from that world. Yeah. So I think Jeff was quite taken with her in that podcast as well. But go check that out. Yeah, we all got lots of great content here on the network.
Good. All right. Well, any last thoughts on this? I guess we should probably tell you what the next one's going to be.
The next one is Home.
The next one is, I believe, yes, I think you're right. It is Home, isn't it? That's the one where Laura goes back. And this is also the one where I think she leaves too. It's
also got Robert Picardo and John Billingsley in that episode. So
it's got the elephant guy, right? The elephant character from this. I can't remember his name.
Elephant.
Yeah, there's a guy that's got like a big, long, like snout nose thing in this episode. I'm almost positive it's this
maybe.
one.
Yeah. Sorry, but I don't.
It might not be this one. Maybe
Can't remember that reference, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's
Oh
gonna be,
no,
looking for
that's
that.
season 2. Never mind. We got time. Oh, wait a second. We're on season 2, so it's coming anyway. We'll see Elephant Man eventually. I can't remember.
All right. Until we get to the Elephant Man.
Until we get to the Elephant Man, anybody have anything else to say? Kevin,
I'm ready for the sexual event.
The sexual event has now ended.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dave. We ran out of time to have the
Damn
sexual event. Anyway, gentlemen, I appreciate you as always, and of course, you know what? We're gonna have to go out here, guys, because we got nothing else to say, and we all have some sexual healing to do later.
We sure do.
We're gonna do that.
All right.
Anyway, live
We're all going to be very relaxed tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm so relaxed.
I'm already relaxed, guys.
See you next time.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.